This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and finally, this is the Asus ePad Transformer Prime, the hottest tablet perhaps of 2011 into 2012, and we're going to take an unboxing and first look right now. So this is the Asus ePad Transformer Prime. A lot of words there in that name, aren't there? But finally, we've got one, and this is a retail version. This is not one that was sent to us as a review unit, so that means any problems that might happen with the retail version could potentially happen here. But I'm happy to report so far none of the problems I've read about with GPS and Wi-Fi and all that are happening. However, we've only had this for a day. We're going to put it through some more thorough tests and do a really in-depth video review of the tablet after that. Big deal about this is it's the first quad-core NVidia Tegra 3 Android tablet. It's running Honeycomb 3.2 Android, and it will get an upgrade to Ice Cream Sandwich. So you've got quad-core rather than the usual dual-core CPU, and we're going to be putting through a lot of tests to check out how much of an improvement there is there. In theory, you should get about a 25% improvement over a dual-core CPU. We're going to check that out. Taking a look around, well, you can see first of all, it has a pretty large bezel, doesn't it? And that's not a bad thing because it's rather thin and light, and it's not the easiest thing to hold on to. So it actually gives you some gripping points here. If you have a skinny little bezel, less place to hold on to, especially given how, well, it's really thin here. This is the usual Asus docking connector, same as on the original Transformer. And we've got a bevel here, you can see too, so it tends to dig in the palm a little bit and tends to want to slip away. Again, really happy that there is a wide bezel, even if it makes it look a little large in terms of footprint. This is your 3.5mm stereo jack over here. The angling is attractive. You can see it like that. But the strange thing is that it leaves part of the metal connector exposed where the bevel cuts away over there, so be careful of shorting that and getting a little buzzing in your ear if you touch that with a piece of metal. The stereo speaker system, as Asus calls it, is right here. It looks like a single speaker grill to me. Sound is decent, not hugely impressive. We'll get into that in further detail in our full review. Up top we have nothing except for the microphone hole and the power button. Here we have the volume controls. This is your micro HDMI port, and this is a micro SD card slot. There is no full-size USB host port in this, just like there wasn't with the original Asus Transformer. You have to get the optional $149 keyboard dock to get the full USB host port. Here's the back, and you can see the swirl pattern, not really as super pronounced as it is on the Asus ZenBook Ultrabook that we reviewed, but definitely a similarity in the look there. And this is the amethyst gray version. Don't worry guys, it's not like super purple. As you can see here, a little bit of a color tint towards the bluey purpley, but nothing much. It's also available in champagne for those of you with more 80s taste. Got an 8-megapixel camera on the back with an LED flash. And that's it for the tour around. Now let's see what you get in the box. So here's the box, pretty similar to the original Transformer, a little bit more compact maybe. Attractive looking enough. Gives you the outline of the keyboard there, a little hint. They want you to buy that keyboard dock, don't they? And that does have a battery in it as well, that keyboard dock. So it's pretty useful stuff, especially obviously if you like to type a lot. You open it up and you get a little cleaning cloth here. Cute little swirly metal effect card that tells you all the wonderful things about the Transformer, which you probably knew since you were buying one. And in here you get this nice Apple-like little portfolio with your warranty card and your itsy-bitsy user manual. Underneath that we have the USB cord that has that large connector that plugs into the Asus. So far nothing wrong with this, not coming apart. I know some of you had problems with that. And this is the charger, pretty much just like the last Transformers charger. USB plugs into there. And this is a separable piece over here. You can see the seam because they have different prong ends that they can put on this. So if this happens to come loose on you, don't worry, that doesn't mean it's broken. That's just because it is interchangeable. So what does the Transformer Prime have? It has a 10.1-inch IPS display, or Super IPS as Asus calls it, because it has a high brightness setting that's supposed to be good for combating outdoor bright lighting, and indeed it is pretty bright, though I haven't seen it being that much brighter than the Zyboard 10.1 by Motorola, their Droid tablet. It has a gig of RAM, pretty much standard for Android tablets, and currently that is enough to do pretty much anything you want to do. 32 gigs of storage for $499, and there's also a 64 gig model, though that one isn't shipping as far as I know. That one obviously costs more, about $100 more. This is a Wi-Fi only tablet, Wi-Fi 802.11 BGN. It has Bluetooth and a GPS. GPS, of course, is aided by Wi-Fi, so if you want your GPS to work well, it's best to leave Wi-Fi on, even if you're driving around and you're not near a hotspot. So far we haven't had any problems with the GPS, and we're going to keep testing it, but even indoors in a 2-story house on the ground floor, it locked on and found our location in a normal amount of time, which is to say within 15 seconds, 10 seconds, something like that. We have your pretty much standard honeycomb implementation here, and the speed is good on it. Look forward to ice cream sandwich to see how much faster it can get, so we can see the multi-thread feature of this actually put to use right now. I mean, there's only a few apps that are going to make use of a quad core and the 4 threads that are possible. And you get the usual Asus software, including their high contrast and very pretty desktop background, the location-based weather over here, their My Zine feature with integrated bookmarking and email notifications, that kind of stuff, add vibe, and all the other stuff we'll go into in greater detail in our full video review. Let's compare it to some other tablets so you can see how the footprint compares, because it is fairly large in terms of width and height, though it's very thin and light. And here we have it with the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1, the ever-popular thin and light one. And you can see the Prime has a little bit bigger footprint. They're about equally as super skinny and light. And in terms of display brightness, well, I'll leave that up to you. They're both quite bright, obviously, though the Samsung does not have an IPS display. It uses something called a PLS display. And now we're comparing it to the Motorola Droid Zyboard 10.1, which has a considerably smaller footprint. Motorola did a neat job of making it compact. It has a smaller bezel, but that's okay in terms of holdability because it has the rubber grippy sides, slightly thicker. We're talking about, maybe a millimeter difference. This one's about 1/3 of an inch. This one's a little bit under 1/3 of an inch. And in terms of screen brightness, you can see they're both quite bright. They're both IPS displays. Motorola claims this is a high brightness 4-inch nit display as well, and well, they're both pretty good at combating bright light. So that's our first look and unboxing of the Asus ePad Transformer Prime, available now just barely, and just about impossible to find. It's kind of like a repeat of the first Transformer, but it is $4.99 if you can find one. They are starting to show up at places like Fry's. Best Buy is shipping some of them. And stay tuned for our detailed, in-depth video review of the Prime coming soon. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.